17 like being an uncle?
Yeah, I guess he likes that. I always say I would be absolutely and Toriyama, if you're listening, I would be absolutely delighted to do an Android 17 spinoff that was just focused on the island and his family. So he was battling, intergalactic poachers, perhaps with the help of 18 and Krillin at times. Perhaps, other people would make guest appearances. Maybe Frieza comes in at one point, or Beerus, whatever. But it's mostly about fighting poachers and hanging out at home. I'd love to see the comedy that would happen with Android 17 and his family,
Like, no one
and
ever
being an
thought
uncle.
that would be the case, though. Like, a lot of people assume that he just died or something. Like,
What's funny is for years at conventions, I said, because the last thing you get from Android 17 is way, way at the end of DBZ, he pulls a shotgun on these two poachers.
hmm
And he's a ranger. And I was like, he's going to come back as a tree hugging hippie. And that was my joke for years, that Android 17 would come back as a tree hugging hippie. And then he kind of did. He kind of came back as a tree hugging hippie.
yeah.
But except he wasn't hugging trees. He was hugging endangered animals and
Endangered
species.
animals.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think that'd be a great spinoff. I think
Fictional
everybody,
endangered animals.
yeah, space animals.
Yes.
It's got a very Star Trek feel to it. If we were like just on this island and Android 17's protect, he might have to go on missions to protect he'd get information that there was a species on a certain planet that needed saving because the planet was going to explode. And that was the only place that species was. And he'd have to go say it. Like, it's a procedural, man.
Right.
You'd be able to crank out episode after episode. I think it could run for 8 or 10 years until I retire. Just saying, Toriyama.